welcome to another Anime Kingdom review. See my title below? Yes, this is on episode 12, the final and last episode of Kakegurui, and honestly, I gotta say, for a finale especially, this episode disappointed me a lot. Now, there were some things in this episode, that I did enjoy, some aspects and everything, but it just sucks that this episode ended up ending the way the whole season ended up ending with this episode. It was incredibly rushed. Like, half the episode was, just all about pretty much the setup and everything. And normally I'd be, okay with that. I do like setup. I do like build up and everything. They have to explain the rules and all that kind of stuff. But it ends up being so bad, the fact that the big thing was this anime needed at least another episode, at least 13 episodes. I still think it would have been like, it really sucks when you see an anime and it could have been so much better if they had more episodes. 12 episodes for an anime, it's never good enough, honestly. Even when you have animes that do a good job with it, for a fact it could have been like 10 times better if they had more time to develop certain things and not rush other episodes and stuff like that, as we had seen before the whole episode arc with Kaide, with the Midari and with the Yumime. Those episodes could have been so much better if they gave it more time and it wasn't as rushed. Sure, like I said before, I still didn't care for it as much because the games overall, the gambling wasn't as amazing. It was pretty boring and nothing exciting like the other ones had been previously. But still, yeah, it could have been way better, especially the Yumi one, in my opinion, could have been way better if it had more episodes. And that's the same exact feeling for this final episode. Normally, when we have these gambling episodes, and everything, when it starts off, is the first episode is mostly a lot of build-up. It's a lot of the, setting everything up, how the gambling works, how they're going to do this and that. And they, start things off, and then boom, there's a cliffhanger at the end of what's going to happen next. Then the next episode is usually when the things start to escalate. That's how it normally goes. It escalates more and more and more until it's a climax, and then boom, it goes crazy. And that's usually how it's been going for most of these arcs. And that's why I enjoy them, because it really gets you starting to build everything up with how the gambling works, and then it just goes crazy later on. The problem with this is two things. One, it was only one episode. If they had a 13th episode, I think it could have been a lot better. Not saying that it was, either way going to be good, because I really found the gambling aspect of this one not really as interesting. The stakes were already, there was no way to escalate it anymore, in the fact that the stakes were already, it's either one of us is going to leave the school kind of thing. So there was no like, oh my gosh, there's a chance of, this happening or this happening, and then of course, let's raise the stakes kind of thing, and it even gets even more intense. Instead, it started off intense by the fact that they're all gonna leave, and it just made for a not a huge like rising action kind of ending and everything. It ended up just being it's ended, it's done, that's it pretty much. And honestly, I saw in the forums, and people have told me already, and as well in the comments, that this was going to be ending in an original ending, an anime original ending. It was not going to be following the manga. And I saw a lot of people in the forums very disappointed by that fact, and that it would have been so much better if they did it in the other way. And the way they did it with this too is that they ended it, making it look like there's a possibility of a second season, which is weird, because if you wanted a second season, why didn't you just follow the manga? Especially considering the fact that they were, a lot of people were saying in the forums too, that they actually were very loyal to how the manga was, and they just continued to go pretty much exactly how it should have been. Certain parts obviously was rushed and taken out, but a lot of the stuff really did happen the way it did in the anime, in the manga and everything. But for some reason they decide, hey, we want to go a safe route. We're going to have it where they both tie. We're going to have it where there's all these other stuff, and we want to change it up. And in the way it makes it that if they don't have a second season, it's okay. But I just feel it's so weird. Like, just end it with how it's supposed to end, and I would have been fine. I would have been like, okay, I'll go read the manga then instead, I guess, if there's not going to be a second season. But now instead you have this feeling of like, what the hell? It could have been so much better if they did it the other way. And one thing I was kind of disappointed as well is the fact that, honestly, I'm not going to lie, I wanted to see some Yuri action in this, and I know that I've seen a lot of people in the forums saying there was a lot of things going on, a lot of Yuri moments and everything in this series, and they really did tone it down, especially considering in this episode in particular there was practically none. There was a little bit with Sayaka being kind of just a super jealous over what's going on between, you know, Yumiko and the president. But overall, it didn't have as much of that could have made it even better of an episode. I mean, sure, some people may not like Yuri and everything, but that's a big part of what makes your manga and everything, makes the manga one of the things that makes, you know, a lot of people enjoy it. Then they should have just continued and followed that into the anime as well. I don't know. It honestly, it really confuses me why they decided to do an anime original ending when they could have just done a different type of ending, following the manga and everything. And honestly, I don't understand why they decided to end it like this. Why they decided to end it in one episode, have the finale against the president in one episode. You have a good episode with the whole Kaede thing. That arc, honestly, like I said, everything was going down. Midori, it started to go down. Yumime, it started to go down even more. A little bit up because I said the second half of the last episode for Yumime was a lot better, I thought. And then it started to get better because of Kaede, and we got to this point where we're like, okay, there's one more episode left. Sure, it's probably going to be rushed, but please let it be a good episode. But honestly, in my opinion, it just went from here and dropped down just a lot lower. Just, it could have been so much better. Just having only one episode made that there was only, you know, pretty much half the episode was built up of them talking about how the game was going to work, that by the time it was time for the game, they had to just rush straight through it, and it wasn't as exciting as the other previous battles and everything. And like I said, it started just, there was no rising action, there was no, you know, escalation of any sorts. It was just bam, here it is, this is what's gonna happen, boom, it's done. And like, it was cool by the fact that they finally did use Suzui as, you know, he is one of the main characters, and you barely see that. And I loved him actually getting a damn backbone for once and everything, and pretty much confessing as well, that's my boy right there, thank you for finally doing that. Yumiko full on having an orgasm when he decides, nope, I'm not going to choose this card, I'm going to go and pretty much leave it to fate practically. And she's like, yes, that's the way you're supposed to do it. And she just full blown starts to just get an orgasm, and I'm over here like, okay, good job, Suzui. I mean, even if you end up losing this and she ends up leaving, I mean, she's practically in your hands by the looks of it. She's in love with you if you continue to do this kind of stuff, you know? But with Yumiko, honestly, I feel like if you were to, you know, be in a relationship with her, it can get, I think that by the end of it, you're going to be boring to her, and she may end up being the one to just call it off. You have to keep doing some risky ass shit to continue that relationship. And honestly, I don't know if Suzui would have it into it, you know, in him, but I mean, so far he's been able to do the craziest shit and keep following her, even though, you know, she's crazy in a lot of cases. But overall, that part, I did enjoy the whole part with him deciding, you know, nope, I'm not going to pick that card and everything. And you have this moment with her going behind him, and like, it's like this crazy thing going on. The music was awesome at that point. His eye just goes ching. And it's like, I know which card to choose. And all of a sudden, it's like his hand is going all over. It looked a little weird when he's going around, and all of a sudden it's like this. I'm like, what is his arm doing? Is it like Mr. Fantastic or something, is stretching around or something? That's what it kind of looked like. So it was kind of weird on that part. But then it was like literally like Heart of the Cards moment as well. Like, boom, here it is. This is what I pick. And it ends up being in a draw. That's just such a cop-out in my opinion. Like, they could have, like, if you're gonna do an anime original ending, at least do it in something crazy where, you know, Yumiko wins or she ends up losing and the president wins. That would have been crazy. Sure, it would not have followed the manga, but if you're going to not follow the manga, you want an anime original ending, go crazy. Don't play it safe like this. Instead, you have people just like, oh my gosh, that was just like all that, and it just ends like that. It's like this whole episode didn't really necessarily need to happen, honestly. And they have all these things like a possibility of second season with, you know, the president calling off the whole, you know, there's not going to be any student council anymore. The whole thing with Luna talking to the president's sister and everything, and there looks like there's something going on there behind the scenes with her, because a lot of those stuff does sound pretty interesting for a second season, but it's probably not going to happen from what people have been telling me. And now that the fact that they're not following the manga, it just seems that it's highly unlikely that they're going to have a second season. If they do, who knows? Maybe they'll do something crazy with it. But I did see that a lot of people did not like that they decided to go with the anime original ending, and the way they did the anime original ending could have been executed a lot better. But overall, by the end of this, I just have to say that, in my opinion at least, it was a pretty disappointing finale episode. Sure, like I said, there were some pretty, exciting moments with me at the edge of my chair, like that moment when he decided to, I'm not going to pick that card and everything, and there's the whole thing with the arm thing and his eyes and Yumiko having orgasm and behind him and everything. Those parts were cool, I did enjoy that, but just having half the episode be a build up, discussing what's going to happen, what kind of game this is, kind of, for a whole half of the episode, and only leaving not even half the episode because they have to shorten it to have an ending of sorts, that it just made the gambling portion so small, and I don't know, honestly. It could have been so much better in my opinion, but yeah, that's all I got to say about that part. We'll start, I'll give my, review of the overall anime now. How did I feel about it? Honestly, I'm gonna have to give it a 6.5, maybe a 7. It just dropped a lot. I still did enjoy the anime. There were still really good aspects of it. It could have been way better in my opinion with 24 episodes or even 13 episodes at least for the finale. But with the way the beginning started, I had it at like an 8. When it ended up coming down to the whole fact that the middle episodes dropped a lot, then it came up a little bit, but the finale just broke it. And in the end, I can't give this, higher than a 6.5 or a 7, because it doesn't feel right in my opinion. It could have been a lot better, but in the end, they executed it really poorly in my opinion. And yeah, that's all I really gotta say, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Anime Kingdom review. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Anything I missed and you want to talk about, comment below as well. And if you did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like. If you haven't already, feel free to subscribe for more content. And as always, guys, I want to hear your guys' thoughts. How did you feel about this episode? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? What do you think of there being a potential second season where it doesn't follow the manga? Feel free to comment below whatever you guys thought, or everything you want to talk about for this and everything. And yeah, that's all I gotta say, guys. So till next time, see ya.